Thank you for joining me to learn more about applying to the ACVPM exam. My name is Dr. Mariah Ziegler, and I'm going to be your presenter for this overview. I'm a member of the ACVPM Credentials Committee and would like to welcome you to this presentation. In addition to this presentation, I encourage you to visit the ACVPM website at acvpm.org and review the information under the ACVPM exam tab. That is where you will find the requirements to apply, the costs, and frequently asked questions about the exam. To apply for the ACVPM exam in 2024, the requirements are as follows. You must be a veterinary graduate or equivalent, have a history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior, which is proven through 2 letters of reference and a sponsor form, and you must have a minimum of 4 years of qualifying experience after the veterinary degree was conferred. All applicants must be sponsored by an ACVPM diplomat in good standing. A list of active members in good standing can be found by searching the member directory on our website homepage. The 2024 fee structure is as follows. There's a $300 non-refundable application fee that's payable upon submission of your application. This is followed by a $475 exam fee, which is payable for applicants that are found eligible to sit the exam. An invoice will be sent to you 5 to 6 months prior to the exam date. The first step to apply for the ACVPM exam is to visit the 2024 exam application portal, which can be accessed from our homepage or by clicking the ACVPM tab. Once there, you will be asked to create your member profile, which will have your own unique login. After doing so, you will be able to download the application form, the reference form, and the sponsor forms as Microsoft Word documents. Only online applications are accepted, and the $300 application fee payment is also submitted online at the same time as your application. There are some key dates to keep in mind for the ACVPM application process to take the 2024 board certification exam. This is all explained on the ACVPM website under the exam application portal. As a summary, between June 1st and July 31st, you should register for a login at acvpm.org. Download the application, the reference forms, and the sponsor forms, and read through them so that you can plan your time accordingly. Next, identify and request a sponsor. Remember, they must be an ACVPM diplomat in good standing. They will guide you through the process and review your application. They will also attest to your good moral character and qualifications to take the certification exam. Recall that I demonstrated the member directory on the ACVPM homepage so that you can search for a sponsor if you don't have one already. The date to aim for is June 15th. Provide your sponsor with a sponsor form and discuss a timeline for your completion of the materials so that the sponsor has time to review everything prior to the application deadline. By July 1st, identify and request 2 references. These do not need to be ACVPM diplomats or even veterinarians, but they can be. The references should know you in a member that allows them to attest to your veterinary preventive medicine knowledge, skills, and abilities, and that they are in accordance with the ACVPM specialty. And they need to know and attest to your history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior, which is also appropriate as an ACVPM member. The references will need time to complete their forms and to be able to return them to you before the application deadline. It's a professional courtesy to do this early so they have plenty of time to write a supportive and complete reference for you. While the references are completing their forms, the applicant should be completing their own as well. Aim to submit all materials to your sponsor no later than August 15th. The application window will open from August 1st to August 31st, and all application materials must be submitted within that time frame. Late applications will not be accepted. Incomplete applications will not be reviewed. Applications must also include the $300 application fee, and it must be submitted online at the same time that you submit your application. The ACVPM Credentials Committee will review all completed applications whose fees have been paid beginning September 1st, and we will notify applicants of your results as soon as the review is complete. Next, I will review the requirements to apply for the ACVPM exam in 2024. To apply for the ACVPM exam in 2024, qualified applicants shall be a graduate with a degree in veterinary medicine from a school or college of veterinary medicine accredited by the AVMA, or possess a certificate from the Educational Commission for Foreign Veterinary Graduates of the AVMA, or be legally qualified and licensed to practice veterinary medicine in some state, province, territory of the United States or other country. And the applicant will have a history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior, and a total of 4 years at minimum of combined qualifying experience after the veterinary degree was earned in 3 or more areas of veterinary preventive medicine as of the exam application deadline. And I'm going to talk about each of these requirements in a little bit more detail next. First, there are 3 different avenues to meet the education or licensure requirements for the ACVPM exam. An applicant must be a graduate with a degree in veterinary medicine from a school or college of veterinary medicine accredited by the AVMA, or possess a certificate from the Educational Commission for Foreign Veterinary Graduates of the AVMA, or be legally qualified or licensed to practice veterinary medicine in some state, province, territory, or possession of the United States or other country. The qualifications for veterinary education should be listed in Table 1, Education, on the application form. Either describe the AVMA accredited institution that issued your veterinary degree and include your diploma, or list the details pertaining to earning an Educational Commission for Foreign Veterinary Graduates, your ACVPM certificate from the AVMA, and submit a copy of this certificate. You can also list up to 3 other veterinary or public health related degrees or related training programs such as MPH, PhD, or residency that occurred after your veterinary degree was conferred. Also include the institution's names, the area of concentration if applicable, and date of completion. If your degree is in progress, list the estimated completion date. If it's in progress, the coursework should also be described in the application. I'll give you more details later on when we talk about qualifying experience in this presentation. Pictured on this slide are 2 different ways to demonstrate your veterinary education qualifications and show that they are met. On the bottom left, you can see a veterinary school diploma from an AVMA accredited institution, and on the bottom right is an example of an ACVPM certificate. Next, let's discuss the veterinary licensure option. If you are not a graduate from an AVMA accredited school or college of veterinary medicine, or do not possess a certificate from the ACVPM, use Table 2 to list your current veterinary license in some state, province, territory, or possession of the United States or another country. If a veterinary practitioner license is used as your only proof of eligibility for ACVPM certification, a copy must be submitted in English, or you must submit a certified English translation. Either way, the date must be valid at the time of your application. If your license is not dated, then supporting documentation must indicate that you are currently in good standing with the licensing authority. For the pictured license, it is an original. It does not indicate if it is valid on the date of ACVPM application. Therefore, a supporting document must be submitted. All applicants for the ACVPM exam must have a history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior. And this must be demonstrated through the inclusion of 2 references and a sponsor form. References do not need to be an ACVPM diplomat or veterinarian, but they can be. The reference form is pictured here as a Word document. The applicant must fill out your name on the top of pages 2, 3, and 4 exactly as it will appear on your application form and your member profile. Each of these reference forms is then given to your reference to complete. The references can be a current or former employer or supervisor, training program director, or another person who knows you as the applicant in a manner that allows that reference to attest to your history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior, which is appropriate for ACVPM membership. The reference returns a signed form to you as the applicant in a PDF format. You then include this completed and signed reference in your application package. Detailed instructions on how to do this are provided in the application form and again on the reference form. The recommendation letter must be original, penned by the reference. In other words, not copied and pasted from something that the applicant provided. It must also be clear that the 2 letters of recommendation are authored by different individuals. Plagiarism does not align with good moral character and will disqualify applicants. Again, to reiterate, the applicant must fill out their name on the top of pages 2 and 3 and 4 exactly as it will appear on the application form. The rest of the form is completed by the reference. The references should know you as the applicant in a manner that allows them to attest to your veterinary preventive medicine knowledge, skills, and abilities, and that they're in accordance with the ACVPM specialty. Pictured is the table on page 3 where the reference needs to describe the responsibilities and professional experiences of the applicant in each veterinary preventive medicine area. This goes on to page 4. The reference needs to complete these in a total of 4 pages or less. If the reference knows you as part of a training program, they should be advised to describe the applicable courses, projects, and experiences. The reference should insert the words "not observed" where applicable into sections where they have not observed or experienced your abilities within a skill set. Veterinarians applying to take the ACVPM exam also need an active diplomat to sponsor and support you through the process. The sponsor form, which is pictured on this slide, is also provided to you as a Word document. Applicants must fill out your name again on pages 2 and 3 exactly as it will appear on your application form. Each of these forms is then given to your sponsor to complete. The sponsor must attest to an applicant's moral and ethical character. The sponsor must also review the entire application form, including all copies of diplomas, certificates, and licensure, as well as the 2 completed reference forms. Sponsor roles and responsibility are described on page 1 of the sponsor form, and we're going to discuss them next. Sponsor responsibilities can also be found on the ACVPM website. It's the role of the sponsor to assist candidates in the application process. Sponsoring typically takes 1 to 2 hours, and the goal is to inform applicants about any errors or missing documents that could result in the application being rejected. Providing additional support to the candidate during their study process and welcoming them to the college is always also encouraged and appreciated. Some very important responsibilities of the sponsor include maintaining active membership in ACVPM, either as a diplomat or emeritus member, be an information source for the candidate on ACVPM policies and procedures, to review and be familiar with Article 8 of the ACVPM bylaws, Section 2, which is certification. Exchange contact information, so communication with the applicant occurs throughout the process. Assist the candidate with completing their application. Review the application to ensure the candidate provides clear and complete responses that address the information that is requested in the application. Contact the Credentials Committee or the Vice President to clarify any questions on the application form or process. And finally, approve the candidate's application using the online sponsor form. If a sponsor is willing to attest to the candidate's good moral character and qualifications to take the certification exam, this should be the last step before the application is submitted. If you need assistance identifying a sponsor, please go to our website, acvpm.org, and click on Member Directory to search for a sponsor. This will have a list of diplomats in good standing who have volunteered as willing candidates to be sponsors. And finally, ACVPM applicants must meet the qualifying experience requirements. The Credentials Committee is responsible for determining the suitability of all experience provided by the applicant within the application. Applicants need to have a total of 4 years of combined qualifying experience after the veterinary degree was conferred, and it needs to apply to 3 or more areas of veterinary preventive medicine as of the exam deadline. A master or doctoral degree in preventive medicine or public health or other relevant medical science may count towards the 4 years of qualifying experience. For example, 2 years in a Master of Public Health program may be reviewed and considered by the Credentials Committee as 2 years of qualifying experience if the degree was conferred after your veterinary degree. Advanced degrees are limited to those obtained after completing the veterinary degree. Concurrent degree programs, as in those that are completed with the DVM or equivalent degree, do not count towards the 4 years of qualifying experience. A formal training or residency program approved by the college shall count as qualifying experience. Programs that are approved by the ACVPM can be found on our website. Applicants in good standing in the final year of a college-approved formal training or residency program who meet the requirements in sections 2A and 2B of the application form and who will meet the qualifying experience requirements in the section upon completion of their approved formal training or residency program shall be eligible to sit for the examination immediately. Final certification is contingent upon documentation of successful completion of the approved formal training or residency program. Beginning on page 7 of the application form, applicants must describe the equivalent of at least 4 years of full-time qualifying experience after their veterinary degree was conferred. This experience needs to include veterinary preventive medicine, and it can be paid or unpaid, and it can be gained through work or training program opportunities. If the experience was less than full-time, which is defined as 35 hours per week, then more than or greater than 4 years of experience will be needed to meet this minimum requirement. So let's look at a 2019 veterinary graduate as an example to work through what this would look like and what their experience and qualifications would need to be in order to be considered a candidate to sit the ACVPM exam in 2024. So this individual graduated in early June of 2019 and began to work full-time on July 1st of 2019. They worked 35 hours or more every week for 2 years in private practice doing veterinary preventive medicine tasks. They then began working for a federal agency in November of 2020 and had 3 months of unemployment in between. In November of 2020, they began working full-time for this federal agency, where they continue to work today through the exam application deadline of 31 August 2023. So this is a total of 3 years and 9 months of experience. And in this case, due to the time off between jobs, this applicant would actually not yet meet the 4 years of qualifying experience and be declined the opportunity to take the exam in 2024. You will provide a summary of your work experiences on the Work Experience Summary page on page 6. This serves as an overview of the experiences you will describe and aids the Credentials Committee in calculating your qualifying experience. So please take extra care to ensure the accuracy of this form. Eligible candidates will demonstrate a minimum of 4 years of full-time qualifying experience at the time that the credentialing exam is being offered. Please realize that 4 times 12 is 48 months, times 35 full-time hours per week equals about 1,680 hours. Many candidates will take more than 4 years to meet this criteria, as it's important to realize that other experiences not related to veterinary preventive medicine do not count towards the creditable experience. And many people also choose to be employed part-time and require more than 48 months after their degree is conferred in order to meet the 48 criteria. From the ACVPM Constitution, Article 2, Definitions, veterinary preventive medicine is an integral component of veterinary medicine and is a recognized field of veterinary medical specialization. The specialty of veterinary preventive medicine is concerned with improving animal and human health through surveillance, prevention, management and control of diseases, investigation of outbreaks and implementation of corrective actions, preparation, response, and recovery from natural and man-made disasters, reduction of occupational and environmental health hazards, advancement of food safety, security, wholesomeness, and defense, and the creation and implementation of policies and regulations. Applicants' qualifying experience must encompass 3 or more areas listed for veterinary preventive medicine. Why do we require this broad knowledge? The examination is focused on these 6 areas, and successful applicants generally have higher numbers or amounts of qualifying experience. From our experience, applicants who do not have diverse qualifying experience are not as successful on the exam. Once a diplomat, it is expected that preventive medicine specialists uphold these high standards of knowledge throughout their career. It is imperative that applicants accurately and thoroughly complete the relevant work and education experience tables on the application form. Keep in mind that you need to convince complete strangers on the Credentials Committee of your knowledge, skills, and abilities in veterinary preventive medicine. There are detailed explanations for each of the areas found on page 11 of the 2024 ACVPM board exam application. I'm going to briefly review a few of the key tips here. Remember to spell out all acronyms. Don't assume knowledge. Be quantitative whenever applicable. For example, if you were in practice and want to count your qualifying experiences under areas A, surveillance, recognition, etc., describe the scope of your experience by listing the number or even the average or median and types of animal interactions that you have per week, month, or year, and list them as applicable not only on an individual basis, but also kind of on a population scale. Describe what and how you have experience in 3 or more of the areas A through F for each position. For instance, under Area B, Prevention and Control, describe how you educate clients, soldiers, other veterinarians, paraprofessionals, supervisees, support staff, the general public, and or how you directly implement prevention and control practices for zoonotic and foodborne illness within your practice. Here are some more tips to accurately and thoroughly complete the experience tables. You need to indicate the percentage of your duties in the 5 areas of veterinary preventative medicine. This is areas A through F for each position that you list. Please note that the sum of areas A through F should not exceed 100%, but the total does not need to equal 100% because we don't want you to include other tasks that are not related to veterinary preventative medicine. These should be listed in area G. So A through G should add up to 100%, but not necessarily A through F. For example, if you are in small animal practice, surgery is not considered part of veterinary preventative medicine as a task because it has its own specialty. So if you spent 1/3 of your time doing surgery, then do not count this as veterinary preventative medicine experience. List this in area G, in row G, and adjust your percentages in areas A through F accordingly. For training programs that are in progress, in other words, they're not completed, list the courses and trainings within the applicable areas A through F or G and the employer as your training program or institution. You should also include how many credits or hours have been completed to date out of the total number required for your program. For training programs that you have listed and described under the education section of Table 1, as in training programs that are in progress, you should list how many credits or hours have been completed to date out of the total required. And you should put courses, plug courses into the applicable areas A through F under that position or job title, that student or trainee position or job title. Again, it does not need to add to 100%. There are often times, and likely are to be, courses that do not fit into the applicable areas. You do not and should not include those. Applicable training does contribute to veterinary preventive medicine knowledge and can be used as part of your 4 years of experience if the degree is conferred and being worked on after you completed your veterinary training. In the cases of training programs that are in progress, you do not need to submit a transcript. This slide shows how this could be applied to an individual that is currently enrolled in one of the ACVPM certified public health preventive medicine training programs. To go through each one individually, but you can look here and reference this slide for examples about how that should be entered into the application form. Make sure that you review the application checklist to make sure that your application is as complete as possible. You need to also make sure that you sign and attest to the following: that you have read and reviewed the application and its accuracies and completed it to the best of your knowledge, that you understand that errors or omissions will result in the return of the application without action. Applicants will be prompted to pay the $300 non-refundable application fee upon submission of your application. The application will not be forwarded to the Credentials Committee for review until the application fee is paid in whole. Delays in payment will impact review and thus notification of an applicant's to take the examination. Candidates that are selected to sit the 2024 exam will receive an invoice for the exam fee for an additional amount of $475. This will be payable in early 2024, and details will be communicated to eligible candidates. Visit acvpm.org and select My Profile. You will be asked to log in if you haven't done so already, and your profile page will appear. You can either navigate to the Payments and History page, or select the red circle with the number 1 in it near your name. Select the box next to your open invoice, then select Pay Selected Invoices. Some additional information that you should know in preparation for the ACVPM exam. You should be prepared and study for 5 subject matter areas: epidemiology and biostatistics, environmental health and toxicology, infectious and parasitic diseases, public health administration and education, and food protection. The ACVPM exam is offered over 2 days. The first day is an essay-style exam that covers the 5 subject matter areas. Day 2 is a multiple choice exam, which covers the 5 subject matter areas again. The ACVPM exam has been administered using a remotely proctored format in 2021, 22, and 23. A decision for the 2024 exam will be made during the fall of 2023, and all candidates selected to sit the exam will be notified. Thank you for listening and for your interest in becoming an ACVPM diplomat. For a list of frequently asked questions, please visit the ACVPM website. We also always welcome questions to the credentialing committee about the ACVPM application process, so please do not hesitate to reach out.